it's probably one of, if not the best, first-person shooter almost ever. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the free Trading Game Collection Challenge, the series where we build a video game collection without spending any money on it. That's what we've managed to do here. Ignore this little section here. This is the 4K Blu-ray section that I will have to put somewhere else because I just want games in this bit. But if you are unfamiliar, I did start a movie collection recently. Those are the ones I already had in my collection. The next episode of that will be out in a few days, where we pick up something from Facebook. Anyway, this series, we've managed to build everything that you see behind me without spending any money on it whatsoever. The playlist has over 50 videos in it, and you can see how we've picked up every single game in it. So if you do want to go check that out, please feel free to do so. Thank you very much for the recent support on the channel. It has been absolutely insane. If you do go on to enjoy today's video, please consider hitting the like button and of course subscribing for more content. In today's video though, we are going to go to CEX again. I basically live there, and we're going to pick up a couple of games. We're also going to go a couple of doors down to a shop called Regenerate, which we talked about in the last episode, and we are going to buy a game in there as well. We are going to spend some of the profit today. So sometimes we go out, we buy a bundle of games, or one game here, one game there, and eventually they all add up, and we will sell part of what we spend to make the money back, and sometimes we make a profit. And with that profit, what we like to do is go out and buy some of the lesser games that you wouldn't always get to buy with credit. And what I mean by that is, if I go into a store with £15 credit, I could easily go and buy 3, 4, 5 games for that. And, you know, decent games, Xbox 360, PS3 kind of games, PS2 possibly. But what I like to do when I have a substantial amount, I say substantial, anywhere between, you know, 10 and 100 or whatever, I like to buy one game that I wouldn't normally go out and just spend cash on. So today we're going to buy games that are slightly less in price. The other thing I'm going to do as well now going forward, because Regenerate is a bit of an untapped resource in my town. You know, not many people go in there that often. I found a lot of steelbooks which I think were undervalued. Sometimes I like to go through the games and scan through them and see if they've undervalued anything. Well, when I was doing that this time, I noticed that they were pricing their games based on what CEX trade them in for. So you're never going to buy something in there for like £10, walk into CEX and trade it in for £10. That doesn't make any sense. My point is, you're not going to make an awful lot doing that, if anything at all. But the beauty of it is, if you wanted to buy it in CEX, it would cost you £15, £20. Whereas in that pawn shop, it would have cost you the price that they trade it in at. So you are going to save money that way. Now, you can't get credit in this pawn shop. They just give you cash. So if you do have things to trade in, you just get cash for it. So it's kind of like, I might as well just go in there and spend the profit. So that's what we're going to do today. Anyway, we're looking around CEX, and there are quite a few games that I like the look of. One of the games that I pick up, actually, I end up seeing... I actually filmed this, believe it or not, before the charity shop pickup. And what charity shop pickup? The Xbox 360 bundle of games that I picked up in a British Heart Foundation. I bought loads in that one pickup, and a couple of them are actually some of the ones that I picked up when I went to spend some of the profit. So it was a bit of a shame, but luckily the condition of the discs weren't great, so it worked out all right. But there are quite a lot of games knocking about the place that are only like £1 or £2. The Dead Risings, for example, 1 and 2. I was looking at, I can't remember what platform I was looking at. Was it Xbox 360? Don't know what platform to get them on, because we have Dead Rising 4 now on the Xbox One. I had to check behind me. So I do kind of want to keep them all on the same platform. Now, I can't get them on Xbox One, but I can pick them up on Xbox 360 and keep them all on the same platform. I kind of want to do that, even though I think they're a little bit cheaper on PS3. I like to go back, and even though I have more of an Xbox 360 collection at the moment than I do PlayStation, my PlayStation 3 collection is embarrassing. The thing I like more about the Xbox 360 is the playability and the accessibility of being able to play these games is so much greater than the PlayStation 3. And what I mean by that is the architecture for the PlayStation 3 is so complex that they don't do backwards compatibility with any of the new consoles, whereas Xbox 360 have an awful lot of backwards compatibility when it goes to Xbox One. I don't know with the Xbox One X or Series X, whatever it's called. I don't know whether that has any sort of backwards compatibility with the 360, but I know that the Xbox One does, whereas the PS4 has no backwards compatibility, and that was the architecture's problem. It's just so random. So I don't really want to collect that many PlayStation 3 games. The one thing I do like about PS3 games, though, saying that, is the fact that you can't really scratch them. I mean, you can, of course you can, but you have to deliberately scratch them almost. You have to drop something on it or take a knife to it or something. It's not like you're going to accidentally get scratches on it because they have that sort of coating on Blu-ray discs. But apart from that, I'm probably not going to collect that many non-exclusive PS3 games. I just don't really see the point. And that's why we're not really building up that much of a collection. But in terms of the games that I find, I'm gonna pick up one fairly common game that I'm sure a lot of people will see a lot when they're out in stores, but honestly it's probably one of, if not the best, or rather in my opinion, and my favourite first person shooter almost ever. I mean, it's not up there with Doom or anything, I'm not really putting it in that bracket. Maybe of the genre, and we'll talk about that in a minute. And then I'm gonna pick up a limited edition with a slipcover. It's not a steelbook, but it may as well be because it does have a lot of value to it and it's undervalued in CEX. And then we're gonna go pick up something completely different in the pawn shop. So first then, let's have a little look at that best ever first-person shooter game. And a lot of people are going to disagree with me straight away, but I was just engrossed in the story when I originally played this, and it is very, very similar to a TV show that honestly, I think it's probably in my top 5 all-time TV shows. I am talking Brothers in Arms Hell's Highway. That is a fantastic game. If you're into, I say if you're into, as if you're happy it happened, but if you like World War II, and you like that sort of, you know, the films, the TV shows, the games and everything, if you're into that sort of thing, this is a must play. You have to play this game. It is a very, very good game. For £2 as well, I wasn't going to leave it there. I actually saw this in that British Heart Foundation the next day, or the same day even. I think it might have even been the same day, where I picked up that massive load of Xbox 360 games. I didn't buy it though, even though it was only 50p, because it was really badly scratched. This one isn't complete, unfortunately. It doesn't have the manual, which is a little bit annoying, but we do have the disc, and the disc is in good condition, so, you know, there's that. I do actually own this on the PS3, ironically, as a steelbook. It is battered. It's not in my collection or anything. It's actually up for sale, but nobody wants it. Honestly, it's a really, really good game. And the TV show that it likens to, by the way, is Band of Brothers. It's almost like they're in sync. But yeah, what a game. Honestly, I'm a big fan of that game. I thought it's very underrated, and not a lot of people talk about it. The other game on the Xbox 360, and the last Xbox 360 game, was £3.50. Bearing in mind, when we spend the profit here, I don't like to spend a lot of money. I have a limit, of like a sort of unwritten rule of £15, and I'm trying not to go and just spend £15 on one game. I like to mix it up and get not as many games as possible, not trying to fill the shelves with trash. I want to get games I either really love, like this, or games that I actually intend on playing. This one of those games where I've played the first one, really enjoyed it, thought it was something very unique at the time. Second one comes out, wasn't interested, don't know why, just did not play it. It was a bit like Red Dead 2. Red Dead 2's got a reason behind it, but this, I didn't have a reason. I just never played it. And it does look really, really good. I am talking Darkness 2. This has a slipcover, which I don't know if you're going to be able to tell. Whether it's going to come across on camera, I don't know. But for £3.50, that is going for about £15 on eBay, second hand, with the slipcover. Because a lot of people have lost this cover, and now will just have that game, and that isn't worth anywhere near as much without the slipcover. It is complete, game and manual and everything, which is nice to see, and it's in very, very good condition as well. The game itself looks good, nothing really wrong with it. I can't say that I'm overly eager to play it, but I saw it there and I had a little bit of a Google. I was like, I know I'm about to do a Steelbook episode, because again I filmed that after I filmed the this one, but I thought, it's not a steelbook, it is a special edition, it kind of does tie in, but I'll put it in spending the profit because I am going to keep it for the time being. I do like it. I'm a big fan of that sort of old-fashioned, like, holographic stuff. It doesn't look great, but at the same time I don't know, I like it, it's cool. So what have we spent so far? £5.50, not an awful lot of money. We do have roughly £10 loosely But I'm not going to spend £10. So I'm in Regenerate, and they've got a massive section of games, which is, I say massive section. For this store, they're building it up and building it up. They never really used to have this many. And I'm looking through, and I'm mainly looking for Steelbooks. I actually went in there purely for Steelbooks. I didn't go in there to spend the profit. But there was a game in there that caught my eye. So I'm flicking through the Switch games, and I'm looking at the covers. It doesn't really mean an awful lot. The prices are all on the back. So what I decided to do was actually just flick through the prices, and anything under a tenner, I would look at and see what it was. I wasn't reading the titles of any of these games. I was just looking at the prices. Anything under £10, and I'd look at it, because anything under £10 on the Switch, you kind of think that's a good deal. Doesn't matter what it is. If it's under £10, it's on the Switch, that's a decent little deal. And unless it's one of those, what are those cardboard folding games? I'm not a massive fan of those, but anyway, I flick in through and I see $7.99, and the game is Asterix and Obelix XXL 2. Now, I'm not going to go out and say I'm a big fan of Asterix and Obelix, because I've seen a few of the cartoons, but when I started to sort of really like this sort of this cartoon, it is French, was when I went to France. And we went as a school trip. I can't remember what year it was. Maybe I was in year 8. So I probably would have been about 12 at the time, 13. We thought we were going to take it to Disney. We're going to a theme park, we were told. But we weren't told which one. But we were in Paris. It was obviously we were going to Disney. We didn't end up in Disney. We ended up in Park Asterix. At the time, I didn't really know anything about Asterix and Obelix other than what they looked like. I love that theme park. I've only ever been there once, and it was when I was about 13, like I said, but it was fantastic. It was one of the best theme park experiences that I've ever had, and I've been to a lot of theme parks. So that will sort of always hold Asterix and Obelix a little bit higher than most other cartoons for me, even though I didn't really watch an awful lot of it growing up. That game, unfortunately, doesn't look particularly great. There is, I think there's an XXL2, and the third one, but you can also buy them as a collection. The collection in CEX, I think, is about £40-something. That one, if you can see it, is or was $7.99. Which I thought was a good deal, and it is a good deal because it trades in for about £8 in CEX. It's going to cost you about 12 to 15 to buy it, so I wouldn't say we've made money. I mean, if we want to sell it, we probably will make money, but yeah, we've done relatively well there. The artwork on the inside is decent, the little cartridge there. I've given it a little go. I'm pretty sure it's a port from the PlayStation 2. It doesn't look great in terms of graphics. It's fine. It's not amazing. I know you don't buy a Switch for graphics. I'm fully aware of that. However, there is another Asterix and Obelix game. I think it's called Smash 'Em All or something like that. That is a side-scrolling 2D brawler. And it's almost like Streets of Rage, really, but Asterix and Obelix. That looks brilliant, and graphically it looks good as well. I want that game, and I didn't know it existed until I bought this, and then I did a little bit of research on this to see what it was all about, looked at the other XXL games, and then I found that Smash 'Em All. I think it's called Smash 'Em All, I'm probably calling it the wrong thing. But that was £8. £3.50 on Darkness 2, and then £2 on the Brothers in Arms. I keep wanting to call it Band of Brothers, but I'm very happy about that. I am going to keep it for now, and I'm going to give it a little bit more of a play and see if I get on with it. But the only reason I would ever want to sell this, by the way, is if I picked up the complete collection of all three of the... I think it's 3. It may be 4, but I'm thinking it's 3 of the games. But that is a very expensive title in CEX, so I'm going to hope to find that somewhere else. But not a bad little day for spending the profit. Something a little bit different in a Switch game. You never really get them in spending the profit, so I'm a big fan of that. I will revisit that store and see if they've got any more underpriced games. And yeah, and I'm a big fan of this as well. I'm going to pop that in one day and give it a go and see if I like it. Because if I don't, it has enough value for me to be able to sell it to make profit. And there we are. Not bad at all. We're going to deduct that from the total cash profit that we have in the series, and that's going to do it for today's episode. In the next episode, I'm going to have a CEX controversy that a lot of people are probably going to moan at me for, but hey, it exists, so we're going to talk about it, and I probably will have some credit to spend as well. The movie collection will be the next video that you probably see on the channel, though. We're going to have a trade-in for CEX there as well, I think. But if you have enjoyed today's video, do me a favor and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, of course, and until the next time, goodbye.